Hello and welcome. Let's solve this question on direction and bearing. Four towns A, B, C, and D are such that town B is 84 kilometers from town A on a bearing of 063 degrees. Town B is 144 kilometers on a bearing of north 60 degrees west from town C. Town D is directly to the west of town C and on a bearing of 161 degrees from town A. Using a scale drawing of 1 centimeter to represent 15 kilometers, draw a diagram to show the relative positions of the towns. 4 marks. So that is the first part. Then the second part is here. Part B. From the diagram, find 1. The distance from town A to town C, 2 marks. 2. The true bearing of town A from town C, 1 mark. Then 3. The compass bearing of town D from town B, 1 mark. And lastly, the distance of town D from town C. So let's go to the first part of the question, where we are supposed to draw a diagram to show the relative positions of the towns. We have the scale, 1 centimeter to represent 15 kilometers. So the best approach to this question is to begin by just a rough drawing, and then we go to the accurate drawing showing the relative positions of A, B, C, and D. So from the first statement, so 4 towns A, B, and C are such that B is 84 kilometers from town A on a bearing of 063 degrees. So we are going to start by indicating the position of A. That is where we are supposed to measure 63 degrees from. So assuming that this is a point A, you draw a compass at A. So draw a compass at A and ensure that this angle 90 degrees. This is north. So this is point A. So point A is here. So B is 84 kilometers from town A. So from this town, this is where we're supposed to measure 63 degrees. So on a bearing of 063 degrees. So from here, we measure 063 degrees. Remember, when we are giving true bearing, we measure the angles from the north in a clockwise direction. From the north in a clockwise direction. Therefore, we shall have it like this. So this is how we are going to measure the angle. So this angle that is here, this will be 063 degrees. We measure the angle from the north in a clockwise direction, and then this distance is 84 kilometers. So B, it seems that B is somewhere here. So B is somewhere here. We're just doing the rough drawing. So that is the first thing you're supposed to do. Now you're given the relative position of A and B. So B is 84 kilometers on a bearing of 063 from town A on a bearing of 063. We've done that. The next statement, town B is 144 kilometers on a bearing of north 60 degrees west from town C. So when you look at this position, this compass bearing given here, that B is on a bearing of north 60 degrees west from town C. So it means point C will be somewhere below B. So you assume that C will be somewhere there. Looking at the compass bearing given, that B is on a bearing of north. So B is to the north of C. So north 60 degrees west from C. So assuming that C is somewhere there. So let me draw the compass here. So that is the compass. So point C is there. So if I join these, I want to show you how you measure that angle. So if we join, so this distance is 144. So this is 144 kilometers. And then this angle, this is the north. So that is the north. So 60 degrees north, 60 degrees. So this is the angle, 60 degrees to the west. So that is the compass bearing. That is how you're supposed to locate position C. So B is to the north, then 60 degrees to the west. So that is how you're supposed to indicate that. And then the next one, D is directly to the west of C. D is directly to the west of C and on a bearing of 161 degrees from town A. So from town A, we measure 161 degrees. So 161. So from here, 161. So 161 will be this angle. Remember, we measure true bearing from the north in a clockwise direction. So from north, like this. So the whole of that angle will be 161. So D, and it is directly to the west. That is due west of C. Due west of C means directly west. So we're going to draw a straight line from here. So that is how we are going to do it. So directly west of C. So D will be at this point here. D will be at that point, and it is on a bearing of 161 degrees from A. So that is the position. That is the position. So again, for accuracy, you need to ensure that you draw the compasses here. So you have to draw north there to indicate the north there, and ensure that these angles are 90 degrees, and also here, and ensure that this angle is 90. So that is just a rough sketch of what we require to draw. Now we can go to the actual drawing, and I will begin from A. So we start by locating A now accurately. So I will locate A. I'll locate A somewhere here. So ensure when you're drawing the north, you ensure that this angle, you'll need a ruler and a protractor to measure the angle. So ensure that this is 90 degrees. You're measuring that. So we need to measure this. So this is point A. So this will be point A. That is point A. So we measure 63 degrees. 63 degrees. And it is from the north in a clockwise direction. From the north in a clockwise direction. So that is how you position it. Position it like that. So 63 degrees. So 63 degrees. So from here. So 63 degrees, somewhere there. 60, 61, 62. So 63 is there. So that is 63 degrees. You can confirm that. That is 63 measuring from here to this point. So from the north in a clockwise direction. So after doing that, you can indicate this. So this angle is 63 degrees. That is the north. Then that distance should be 84 kilometers. Remember the scale. The scale is 1 centimeter to represent 15. So 1 centimeter to represent 15 kilometers. So for 84 kilometers, how many centimeters are we going to measure there? So you divide by 15, and this one will give, so 84 divided by 15, that one will be 5.6 centimeters. So we measure 5.6. I'll use a pair of compass to do that. So standing at this point, standing at A. So as you can see, my pair of compass has the measurement. So 5.6 is there. So 5.6 is there. So I'll mark an arc. You can use a ruler for your case. So that is a point. So this is B. So from there, at B, you can draw a compass at B. Draw a compass and ensure that when you're drawing the compass, you do it accurately to ensure that the angle that you measure will be 90 degrees. So let me draw. So ensure that the angle there, I will measure to confirm like that. So ensure this point, this is the point B here at the center. Always ensure that this angle, when you're constructing your north, that point, this angle is 90 degrees. I will measure that angle to confirm. And you can see it is 90 degrees. It is 90 degrees. So from there, now we should notice something. So from here, we want now to identify the position of C. And to identify position of C, there's something we are going to use here. I want you to watch it carefully. And there's something we are going to use. When you look at the sketch, I'd like you to look at the sketch. Look at this line. Look at this line that is here. That line is parallel to this line. And therefore, this angle, this line is a transversal. This line is a transversal, so this line is parallel to this. This is a transversal, and therefore if this angle is 60, therefore this angle here is 60. So this angle is 60, this angle is the alternate angles on a transversal, and therefore this angle that is here will be 120, because this one is a straight line. So this is 60, this will be 120. So this angle will be 120. So that is what I will measure, 120. So from B here, I will measure 120 so that I can locate C easily. So from here, 120. So take your protractor, measure that. So place it there like that. Then you want to construct a 120. So from the center there, 120 is there. Is 120 is there. You can check that. You can check. So these from this point, we're measuring from here 10 all the way to 120. That is 120. From the north, we measure bearing from the true bearing from the north in a clockwise direction. So after doing that, you have now the angle. So this angle is 120 degrees. That distance is 144. So 144, going by the scale, we divide 1 centimeter represent 15 kilometers. So we divide 144 by 15 to get the centimeters that we need to measure. So 144, I will need to measure this equivalent to 9.6. So this is 9.6 centimeters. So 9.6 centimeters. Take your ruler. I will use a pair of compass here. So from B, 9.6. So 9.6 is there. So can mark an arc. So that is 9.6. So this is where we have position C. Position C is there. Again, draw a compass north here at point C. Always ensure it is 90 degrees. Not yet. Yes, that is the right one. So when you're constructing the north here, I'm using a different method, because when you're constructing it, always use your protractor to ensure that this north is and whatever you construct here is 90 degrees. So I'm ensuring that these lines are straight, such that this angle here is right angle. This angle is 90 degrees, and I can measure that to confirm. Only that the tools I'm using are different for demonstration. You're supposed to always ensure when you measure like this, like that, ensure that everything is okay, 90 degrees. So from there, the next thing that I will need to do is to extend this line, since I want to get now the position of D, and since D is directly or due west of C, I will have to extend this line here directly like that, straight using a ruler. And then again, D is 161 degrees from A. So from A, I will have to measure 161 from A, 161. So with your protractor, measure 161. This is how you place it. So from there, from the north, we measure it from here, from the north, 161 like that. So 161. So from here, so 161. So this is 150, 160. So 161 is there. You can confirm this 161. So you can see this is a 161. So from here, 10, 0, 10, 150, 161 is there. All right. So when you draw a straight line, the point of intersection now of this line from C, this will be the point D. Point D will be here. So that is point D. So point D is there. Again, you can construct a node there for helping you to answer the questions. This will help you to answer the questions. So since you have the horizontal line, just need to make sure you have a node like that. Now let me just ensure. Yes, like that. Just construct the node there like that. I want to ensure that this one is 90 degrees. Show that this one is 90 degrees. Yes, it is okay. That is 90 degrees. So after that, we are done. So we are done with this. So this is 90. So this is 90 degrees. So now we have indicated. So this is 84 kilometers, which we measured 5.6 centimeters. Then this one was 144 kilometers. We measured 9.6 centimeters to represent that. So that is how you're supposed to indicate or show the relative positions of the towns. Now let's go to the questions. The first one, part A, part B. From the diagram, find the distance from town A to town C. The distance from town A to town C. The distance from town A to town C. So the distance from town A to town C, we can join that using a straight line from A is here. So from A to C. So I'll use a pair of compass here. So use this one to measure. So let me stretch from all the way from A to C. That is giving 13.5. 13.5. So this is 13.5 centimeters. Remember, we have the scale 1 centimeter to represent 15 kilometers. So it's supposed to give the answer in kilometers. So 13.5, you have to multiply that one by 15, since 1 centimeter represents 15 kilometers. So when you multiply this one by 15, you'll get this one as 202.5 kilometers. So that is the first part of the question. Then part B, the true bearing of town A from C. The true bearing of town A from C. The true bearing of town A from C. So from C, we are going to stand at C and measure the angle from C. So look at the position of A is there, then C is there. So we measure the angle from here. So take your protractor, and the angle that you need to measure, first you need to identify the angle that you need to measure is this angle from the north, because this is the true bearing from the north. Once we have joined the two places A and C, you measure from C, from north in a clockwise direction. So from here north in a clockwise direction. So what we shall need to measure is the whole of this angle here. Need to measure the whole of this angle. So from here all the way to that line. So alternatively, we can measure the angle that is remaining. We can measure this angle here that is remaining, and then we take 360, that is the sum of angles at a point. Then you subtract this angle that is here. That will still give us the angle from this point, from north all the way to this point here. So you just measure this angle, then you take 360, subtract that angle. So that is what I will do. So let me measure that angle. So I'll measure that angle. So this is all, place the protractor, should be straight like that. So from this point, so this angle, I'm measuring this angle. Remember, this is the angle that I need. So I'll have to extend a line here at this north. I will have to extend that north. So I will have to extend that north like that, so that I can get that angle properly. So I need this angle from this point all the way to this point. So this will be 10, 20, 70, and this will be 80. It is giving 80. This angle is 80. So from here, 10, 20, 30, 40, 70, 80. That angle is 80. So therefore, since I need this angle from this point, I'll take 360. So I'll take 360 degrees, subtract 80 degrees. 360, you subtract 80 degrees, and that one will give you 280 degrees. That is the true bearing. The next part, the compass bearing of town D from town B. Town D from town B. So we join D and B first. D and B. Let us join B and D first. So B is here. So we join B and D like that. once we join, we are supposed to measure the angle, and this is compass bearing. Compass bearing, we measure the angle from B. So from B, this is south, D is to the south, and then we need to measure this angle, and remember the angle is to the west. So we need to measure this particular angle that is here. This angle is the one that, so it is to the south, so we already have that south, and then it is to the west, so we only need that angle that will come between them, and this is how we do it. This is how we're going to measure the angle. So sure that, let me bring this one down like that, so I place it there like that. Ensure that you place your protractor very well. All right, so this is the angle that I need to measure this angle here. So from here, this is 10, 20, 20, 30. This angle is 41. This angle is 41 here. See, this is a 41. So from this point, 10, 20, 30, 41. It's actually 41. 41. So getting that, so therefore the compass bearing of D from B is south, 41 degrees to the west. It is to the west. South 41 degrees, so this angle is the one that you have identified as 41 degrees the west. And then the other question, this one is the last one. The distance of town D from C. D from town C. So DC, need to get this distance from D to C. So I'll use just use a ruler in your case. So just use this pair of compass here that I'm using. So standing at D, I want to stretch it. So this will give 12.4. Mine is 12.4. 12.4, is it 12.4? I think let me place it properly. Yes, it is 12.4. So that is 12.4 kilometers. So this is 12.4 centimeters. I mean, there's always a small allowance that is given, plus or minus 0.1. So then you're supposed to give this one in kilometers. Remember the scale, 1 centimeter represents 15 kilometers. So this will be 12.4 multiplied by 15, and this will give 12.4 multiplied by 15. That will give 186 kilometers. So that is how you are supposed to solve that question on bearing.